Hello everyone, welcome to another casual Sunday garden stroll. My name is Erin, the Impatient Gardener. I live in Garden in southeastern Wisconsin, zone 6A-ish. These are basically unedited walk and talks through the garden that I try to do every weekend. So there isn't a lot different from last weekend because I've not really had much of a chance to get out in the garden and do much. It's still pretty early for a lot of cleanup and stuff. We're warmish, but you know, a lot can still happen here during this time. There's a lot of sticks and stuff down. I mean, if I really felt like, you know, I could definitely just walk around the yard and pick up sticks from the big wind we had, but I don't want to do that. I would like to walk you around to show you just a few little highlights that are around. I will also tell you that this week, well, first of all, last week in the middle of the week, I did a little video on trying out seed snails, kind of a first for me. Really interesting comments on that video. One person mentioned that their grandparents or something did them back in like the 60s or 70s. So once again, everything old is new again. There is no truly anything original. I hadn't heard of them until last year when they got very viral-ish on social media, which was the first time I had ever heard of them. But like a lot of things, someone, you know, has been using them and people started paying attention finally. Anyway, so I planted a few seed snails for that, including the one that I had already started, and things are germinating really well in those. I will say, I think for the seeds that I'm using in those, I probably made them taller than I had to. I don't think the seeds, well, we'll see. This is why we're doing this experiment, right? We're gonna see. I don't know if they're gonna need as deep of a root run as what I provided for them there, but we'll see. But everything, the Clarkia came up like immediately. So that's a little update on the seed snails. And this coming week, I'm gonna be introducing to you a new project in the garden that's happening this year. I think that video is going to go up early for members, and then it'll be out for everybody midweek is the plan. I'm almost done with the edit on that, so I hope you'll follow along with that. I'm excited about it. We're going to follow that project pretty carefully because it's a small enough project that I think I can get into detail about how some things are being done, but kind of encompasses everything that would go into creating any size garden. So there's a little teaser for you on that. Let's go for a stroll. So I did do just a little bit of, I don't think this was like this last week. I did do just a little bit of, there's Darwin. I did do just a little bit of cleanup in this area just so I could unearth some of those winter aconites so we could see them. And they would be open if the sun were out, but it's not, so they're not. So yeah, maybe today if I get to clean up, this might be the garden where I start because this is the garden where we are doing a few other things. And I just know things will be happening here sooner than the rest of the garden. We'll just take a stroll this way. We've been checking in. Actually, I could move as soon as I get, these pots could go back onto the driveway now. I think, so this is Golden Curls Willow. I'm a little worried about how big they are in these pots. I mean, in terms of ever getting them out of this pot and whether I'll be able to keep them watered enough. So I think I really liked this planter idea. Actually, this one is actually kind of looking a little better than that one in terms of color on the stems. I really liked this idea for a planter. It was maybe my favorite thing that I've ever done. And these go in pots that sit here and here on the end of the driveway apron. And kind of, they sort of call attention to the entrance a little bit of the house, which is always kind of weird here. I think I might get these out. And if they're salvageable, once I get them out of the pots, because they may have to be cut out of the pots, I will plant those somewhere. And then if I can find 2 new Golden Curls willows. I picked these 2 up at Home Depot for 35 bucks. I'm sure they wouldn't be that this year, but they've been in there for 2 years. So that was a pretty good deal considering what I got out of them and how nice they're looking now. So I think that's the plan for those, but those pots could move any day now, honestly, but I do need to borrow the hand truck from work. We've been checking on this daffodil regularly. No blooms yet. maybe this week, if it gets warmish, we might get some blooms this week. And this is Above and Beyond Rose, which can now be pruned because you can see we've got nice little buds on it, so I can see what I'm doing. So I can clean this up. This looks quite messy because also in here is this Pearl d'Azur clematis, which needs to be sorted out as well. I will say this is Rise Up Lilac Days over here, which grew great last year, but looks suspicious to me. Now I have been scraping a little bit and I am finding green on the stems. You know, there is green there, but maybe it's just a little slower to get going. So I'm not going to touch this one until I start to see little leaf buds like we're seeing on the other one. We could do a little test here to see if these branches that have been frozen in here will now pull out. Oh, they do. So I could finish cleaning that up today. That would be great. Oh, that was quite sticky. You saw last week that we had some masonry work done here. So that's all finished. When they cleaned out in here, I just noticed this today, they like used a leaf blower and like really blew everything away. So there's all my mulch and stuff. So I got to get some mulch back in here. I mean, like they really like expose these, gosh, that's a lily, right? But there is things coming up, like, is that Crown Imperial Fritillary there maybe? There are some of those in here. Here's another one. Isn't that wild looking? It's so cool. So really the soil got quite disturbed over here, which is not a surprise. And we knew that was going to happen. You can see all my mulch has just been blown over. So I should probably come back in here. It'd actually be a really good time for me to come in and, put some amendment in there, as long as the mulch is pulled back anyway. And that could be something like biochar blend or compost. Not that I have any compost handy at the moment. I went to check on my stinking hellebore, which is my favorite kind of hellebore. And it is here. And you can see, I mean, this is just kind of, unfortunately, it doesn't look great down here. I guess I could cut those off, but you can see we've got nice new growth in here. That's when it's sort of at the cooler part of its range. I don't think it looks particularly great in spring. I also need to remulch this. This is a little walking path through here and you would never be able to tell. So fortunately I have a whole pile of wood chips, so I will come over here and move. I would like to move some of those anyway, so that would be good. We can head over to the mound. I did have this tree. There was just some really straggly branches. It was basically branches that had no real foliage on them. They were all defoliated. So I did have, this is quite backlit for you, sorry. So I did have, you can see maybe a few little cuts there. We just had those few branches just to clean that up at the bottom. Plus it just makes it look nicer through that area I would have left them if there had been foliage on those branches, but if there's not, then I don't see a lot of point in having straggly branches there. The mound is, you can't tell, but the mound looks so good, you guys. The snowdrops are starting to get tall now. So I was worried that they were all going to be super tiny because so many of them were so close, but they're all starting to like get taller now, and the whole mound is really full. Now this is a delicate look right now, so unless you know they're here or you're looking for them or you're standing right over here, you probably wouldn't notice them, to be honest. But I think this is really promising. Up here, I'll see if I don't really want to step in here, but you see there's a little bit of winter aconite popping up in there. So I'm very happy about what I'm seeing here. I think this is all a good sign for what's coming here, because if you're not, I guess I should explain this project in case you're not familiar with this project. This is our septic mound, and I'm making it into a bulb mound. It's a lipstick on a pig situation over here. So I have planted thousands of small flowering bulbs on here. And the idea is that in spring, this whole thing is just taken over by flowers eventually. And then later on, once all that foliage has died back, then we can just basically mow it like if it were. See, I'm a little surprised there's not more on this side because I did plant a lot on this side. Huh, interesting. But you know, maybe that side gets more sun. That's west, but because of the trees here, you know, maybe it's just that this side of the mound wakes up, excuse me, a little bit later. I thought I just saw daffodil foliage in here too. Oh no, that's just snowdrop foliage. So anyway, mound is looking great. That's excellent to see. Oh, I think we do have butterbur coming up, just starting to come up. And butterbur, talk about this plant a lot. This is Petasites japonicus or japonicum, whichever way that works. This is one of those things that I tell people, do your research before you plant it. It can be aggressive. This is Petasites hybridus, is considered an invasive that you are not allowed to grow in our state. But this one is fine, but it is aggressive. It's basically a bog plant. And these are the flowers that are just starting to come up. And in the next few weeks as these open, they're the coolest damn flowers. They're so cool. And this has spread for me pretty nicely in this area because this is very wet and it's right along the stream. I also feel like this has provided some, because it spreads by rhizomes, I feel like it's done a really good job of reinforcing the bank here. Because this is kind of a curve in the what I call the creek, but it is that. So when it's really flowing, it can wash out pretty bad. I just want to show you across the way without really walking over there. Look at all the, that's quite a clump right there of skunk cabbage. But it's all, let me zoom out a little bit before I got you super zoomed. I mean, it's all over in there. And skunk cabbage is really pretty. The foliage on it looks like a very shiny hosta. And that's a native, nothing that I planted there. It was just there. You can see all, I don't know if you can see all these branches down the ground. This is all from that big windstorm. This is my slender silhouette sweet gum. I would like to get 2 more of those. That one I bought on a super sale at Home Depot. Gosh, I've talked about buying plants at Home Depot twice in this video, and it's funny because I don't very often, but I do pick up things on sale. That was, you know, I bought it like kind of later into spring and it was marked down a ton. So I saw them there last year, but they were not marked down yet. And then by the time they were marked down, they were gone. So I guess I'm gonna have to pony up for them if I really want that. I thought perhaps, by the way, I'll just say here, Geranium macrorrhizum is just one of the first things to really green up. It's semi-evergreen here, but it also greens up quite early in the season. Here's a mother, boy, I could make quite a impressive stick pile if I needed to. This is actually looking really pretty good. This is my soft serve Chamaecyparis. This came as a sample plant and it was quite small. It's growing quite well. It lives in this cage, unfortunately. The deer do not eat my other ones, but I'm afraid that it needs to get a chance at life because if a deer did decide to eat it, it could wipe it out in one night. Here's another skunk cabbage. I guess we're gonna stop showing every skunk cabbage there is down here. One thing that I planted down here, and a lot of people were like, don't plant it, but I do love it, is northern sea oats, right? Chasmathium latifolium, which can be fairly aggressive, but I love that plant. And it didn't come back for me. So I'm gonna plant that again because I want that. And that area can handle a little aggressive. I mean, there's a lot of area to cover down there. That area can handle a little bit of aggression in terms of plants. One thing I try to do is call plants that are aggressive, and not use the word invasive unless it's, I don't think this is I thought this was like a rule. It turns out it's not a rule, but it's my rule. So I try to only call plants that are listed as invasive, meaning they displace native species. And so by that definition, they must be a non-native species in order to qualify as, for my definition of invasive. Anyway, so that's the difference. If I say invasive, I mean like it is a non-native species that is either like listed illegal or noxious, or, and I try to use noxious when it's noxious, or aggressive when it's just something that spreads a lot and you just have to be wary of it. Here is Cornus moss, and look at those buds thinking about opening up. For me, this usually blooms about the same. I've just got some scrappy forsythia that I mostly cut back, so I don't count on those to bloom, but this generally blooms for me at the same time that forsythia would bloom in most, so we're close there. That's exciting, and it's beautiful. I love it so much. I did note that the other Cornus moss that we have, that we planted down the driveway there, the buds are not as big. So I don't know if that's because this one is more mature. I don't know, because I would say that one, if anything, gets more sun than this one does, or they get about the same amount. So I don't know what goes into that, but just an interesting note. And it's just getting to be about time soon to start thinking about cutting these things back. I'm just kind of waiting to pick a nice day to do it because, I have the luxury of being able to do that because I still have time. I think I did see a few little spots of, you do have snowdrops in other places in this garden. And I did see one up here. Several of them actually over here. So I want to walk carefully, and I see a little hellebore coming up here. So I probably should get in here. Now's the time to finally get in here and cut back that bad foliage. But there's a hellebore coming up. We've got snowdrops there, another little bunch. I saw another little bunch over there. More hellebores there. So that's all good. We'll take that. That's exciting. And again, look at how many branches and stuff are down. What's that going to be? Obviously this is Creeping Charlie right here, but what is this guy? Maybe that's Spring Beauty or something? Well, I thought that happened later. Huh. I have to watch that because I don't know what that is. There. Do know that Creeping Charlie can just go right away. It's turning into an episode of Wine and Weeds at this point. There. Oh. Be free. Be free of the Creeping Charlie. If you guys know what this is, so it's really fine. It's got to be snowdrops. It's definitely snowdrops. I've just never seen a snowdrop come out like that. That's snowdrops. Never mind. Don't tell me it's snowdrops. Oh, there's more. Hey, look, I got snowdrops everywhere. I guess I forget. Do you guys forget where stuff is planted or what you have growing in places? Because I do all the time. All the time. Oh, yeah. See, this is all disturbed too because they cleaned up actually quite well. You can see there's a fair bit of mortar around here, but they cleaned up much better than other masons we've had out. We've had some masons who they lay waste and then they just walk away and leave mortar all over your garden beds. Okay, let's just take a quick run around the corner here so I can show you the dogwood over here. Okay. We have really, really, really nice buds on the dogwood here. My hope is that 2 years ago, this is rosy teacups. 2 years ago, this tree was so full of flowers. And I think these are flower buds. It's difficult for me to tell sometimes the difference between the flower buds and the leaf buds, but I think these are all flower buds. And then last year, not as many. So I'm hoping this is one of those trees that kind of does like an every other year thing for the show, because if the amount of buds on here is any indication, it should be amazing. And these all look okay, right? Yeah, I'm excited about that. And then I do see some leaf buds coming on the new Heptacodium Seven Sun tree here, which is great because, you know, I always worry. It was a very big tree that we put here, and it, you know, it's always a little scary to make sure they, especially when we had a winter like that, you always want to make sure they get through. But I do see these would be leaf buds, of course. So right, we get there. You can see right there, we've got some leaf buds. I do, and I see them mostly throughout. There are a few places like this stem right here. I don't see anything. Oh no, I do. Anyway, I'm not touching anything on it until we've got a lot of growth on it. And I think this, I saw a couple of things here like I thought, like little bits like this. I think like that's, well, if it snaps, it's dead. So that whole branch is probably dead there. But I'm not going to prune anything out of this until we see like good growth, and then, you know, I think I have made the mistake a lot of assuming things were dead and they weren't. And it almost never is a problem. Just wait longer and cut it. Could you maybe get out of the garden, Darwin? Hi, could you exit the garden area? Thank you, sir. Come on. Go down. There you go. It's almost never a mistake to just wait, because you can always cut dead out at any time. You don't have to do that at any specific time. So you can always do that. Yeah, so, oh, and you know, the other thing that comes up nice and early is alliums. I'm pretty sure this is Summer Beauty. This, I have perpetually had just a bunch of grass mixed in this. That is left over from when we moved, I'm not kidding you, when we moved into this house, you guys. This whole garden, and I wish I had pictures, but you know, I didn't know what if I had them, I lost them. I had a whole, I mean, that was so when we were probably printing pictures. And in addition to that, I had a whole situation in which, oh my gosh, a NAS storage system that I had that was connected to the internet got hacked, and they demanded Bitcoin to get my stuff back. And I was like, fine, you can keep my stupid pictures of my garden. I'm not paying you for this. So I lost a lot of photos. And so some of the early photos of the garden were on there, which is a shame, but I wasn't going to go paying for them. Anyway, when we moved in, this garden was an L that came off the patio like this and then went out like that. And it was 100% ornamental grasses. And so we lived with them for a year and then cut them down, and then I had to dig out all those clumps. I didn't realize I was going to have to do that, but there was probably 200 clumps. It was wretched. And in some cases, some of that grass persists. And this is, so you guys, this is what's left from that 20 some years later. You end up, if you miss some grass and stuff, like it still pops up. So there you go. almost never works to try to take a shortcut. I don't know that I tried to take a shortcut. I think I just accidentally did. Anyway, there's the update on the garden. Let me turn you around here. All right, there's the update on the garden. Thanks for taking a stroll with me. I hope you guys are having a great weekend in your garden. As always, thank you for watching these videos and commenting and hanging out. Exciting stuff to come. And maybe even some hydrangea pruning. How exciting. All right, you guys, have a great day in your garden. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.